Hey, I'm JD Frost, JD Frost and Company in Croft, and I am really appreciate you joining this webinar. This is my top 10 takeaways from GrowthCon, the 10X GrowthCon, as well as the Mastermind. So if you've got any questions over here on Instagram, I'm also doing this on a webinar here, and I really appreciate you signing up and being here. If you're watching this back later, thank you very much for tuning in. And I just wanted to share some of the things that I had learned from GrowthCon. I mean, it was an amazing event. If you've never been before, this is something that you need to attend. It is an incredible way to meet people, an incredible way to network, and it's so important for you to get out and network and be with people. I mean, in business, what we need to be focused on is connecting with people. We need to connect with people. That's the main thing, is that those people, they have your money and you have a service or a product that you're offering to them. And that is how you are connecting with them. That's how you are going to help them. And you've got to find more connections in order to help more people. So let's get right into it. So one of my first takeaways, and as you have questions, please write those questions in there. One of my main takeaways from the 10X GrowthCon is, the first one is, the better I get, the more help I need. The better I get, the more help I need. What happened at the very beginning is Grant Cardone got up and he said this phrase, the better I get, the more help I need. And it really kind of impacted me, and it taught me more about the fact that I, at one point in my life, thought I was pretty good at what I was doing. And I really did not feel like that I needed to get any more help. And until I went to GrowthCon, I didn't realize that how much opportunity there is out there. The more that I learn about myself, the more that I get better, the more help that I need. The more that I need to be getting better, then I need to be finding even more ways to improve. So this idea of self-improvement was the number one thing that I took away from that event, and to humble yourself enough to understand the fact that even if you're good at what you're doing, even if you're really, really good, you need to be getting better and you need to be asking for more help. And one way that I apply that to my own life is reading books. I think it's very important to be reading books on a daily basis, to be reading on a daily basis. I try to read at least 26 books a year. That's my goal, is to read 26 books a year. I'll try to read one every 2 weeks. So that's one thing to keep in mind. The second takeaway that I had, and we're just going to kind of run through these because I've actually got way more than 10 when I started writing these down. I've actually got about 25. So we're going to run through these. If people don't know me, they can't flow me. Now, that's not really like the kind of term that I use all the time. If people don't know me, they can't flow me. But if people don't know who you are and what you do and how you do it, there is no way that they can ever flow you any money. They cannot. You have to be out in front of them. And what's been amazing over this last few weeks, or this last week especially, I've been out in front of people even more. And this is why it's so powerful to be on social media with the coronavirus going on and everything. It is so important for you to be known and to be seen. And the way to do that is through social media. This point in time should be teaching you that your business needs to change. There is a requirement to adapt. And that is what we're having to deal with right now. That's what we're being forced into. So the second takeaway I had is, if people don't know me, they can't flow me. The third one, and this is so important right now, especially, you know, this webinar being made during the coronavirus and everything, go to customers where there is demand. Go to customers where there is demand. So what is happening now, and what has happened in our own business, in my own life here recently, we are doing people's tax returns. We prepare taxes, we keep them compliant. But what we also discovered this week is that we can also help our clients apply for these SBA loans. This is something that is unprecedented, this event that is happening, and these bills that are being passed, and everything that is happening with the government is starting to make taxes kind of sexy, right? Like the United States Treasury pumping money into the economy. What requires the economy to keep going is we have to have money exchanging hands. When money doesn't exchange hands, it's not valuable anymore. And that's what's happening to our economy right now. That's what we're having to address, is we got to have people spending money. This needs to ramp up. And so there's only ways to create money being spent is to create demand. So you want to go to customers where there is demand. And that's what's happened this week is we've created this new line of service where we're helping our clients with SBA loan applications. And you better believe there's a high demand for people looking for advice on what to do on their business, where to go, what do they need to do right now. I was just talking to a client today, and I told them about the SBA loan. Their business is doing fine right now. They're like, there's no need in doing that. Well, I educated them a little more. I told them a little more about it and said, look, this isn't really going to have an effect on your business till about mid-May. And they're like, oh gosh, I mean, if it lasts that long, then I'm going to have an issue. So I created some demand with that client. Go to customers where there is demand. If you have any questions along the way, please put those in the comment section. The fourth one is, and this is one of my favorites, success and failure live next door to each other. Success and failure live next door to each other. How many times in your business do you feel like that you are that close to failing? How many times do you feel like that you're right there? You're at the end of your rope. You don't know where to turn. You don't know what to do. And you might be feeling like this quite a bit right now with where your business is. You don't fail unless you quit. You do not fail unless you quit. And so it's so important. And this is what resonated with me so much is that literally if I picture that success and failure live right next door to each other, then I am right next door to success. And I am right next door to failure all the time. So that's where I live. That's where I am present. If I am present in that state, then I can be successful because I know I'm not going to fail because I won't quit no matter what. And one thing I forgot to open up with is write these down. To accomplish anything, you must write down something. So write down these takeaways, apply them to your life, put them where you can see them. Remind yourself. We don't have to be taught. We have to be reminded every day. That's why I write down my goals every day, twice a day. We have to be reminded of why we're doing what we're doing. It's this way to reprogram your brain, reset your brain, allows you to reach that success. So to remember, to accomplish anything, you must write down something. Write down these takeaways. Number 5, how much attention you will get, or how much attention you get will determine how far you will go. I love this one because think about the people in your life that get the most attention. Who do you think about? Who do you think about that gets a lot of attention? Athletes, movie stars, politicians, they get a lot of attention. And they are going, I believe, pretty far. Like at the event, they had John Travolta, they had Kevin Hart, they had Money Mayweather. They had all these different people who we kind of look up to, who we see, who we know. We know who those people are. We recognize them. And they have gone a long way. They've gone very far as being successful in the career that they chose. So how much attention you get will determine how far you will go. One of my other favorite things, one of my biggest takeaways was Kevin Hart told this story, and I hope that I tell it correctly. So really, one thing that you need to keep in mind when you are in business is this idea of not quitting, right? Everybody has an opportunity. Everybody has the same opportunity. It's just a matter of how well you use your time. And the analogy that he gave was, he was like, just imagine if you had this opportunity to win $1 million and all you had to do was hit a professional baseball player. They're a professional baseball pitcher. You had to hit his pitch. So everybody's going to line up for that, right? They all want a chance at winning $1 million. So when you get your turn and you stand up there and that pitcher pitches, what do you think happens the very first time? You probably miss it. I mean, that thing's going at 90, 95, 100 miles an hour. I mean, it goes right by you. Like, you probably don't even get a chance, but you had a chance at possibly hitting it, and you could have gotten lucky and won that $1 million. Well, the thing of it is in the rules, it didn't say that you can go back and get in line and try again. You can get back in line and try again. The thing is that most people want the opportunity. They want the opportunity to win the $1 million. They want the opportunity to have the successful business. But when they fail at it, they don't go back and try again. Well, in that analogy, if you go back and get back in line and wait again, and you got to wait, you got to wait, you got to wait, you got to wait, then you get your opportunity again. And that time you miss it again, then you go back and get in line. Well, most of the time that line's going to get shorter. And the longer you stay in that line and the longer you don't quit, you don't fail, you eventually, if you start to continue to get in line, maybe you study a little bit while you're waiting in line, you figure out how to hit that pitch, eventually you will hit it. And what this told me was that there is an opportunity no matter what, as long as I stay in line, as long as I give myself time, as long as I am present, I will succeed. I am going to accomplish what I want to accomplish. And that's what goes back to goal writing, doing it every single day. That's what's keeping you in that line to go hit that pitch. So important. Number 7, what is your ideal scene? This was from the mastermind. This is one thing that Grant Cardone talked about a lot. What is your ideal scene? Your ideal scene is your vision. It is what you are looking for, what you want to get to. You've got to understand what your ideal scene is, because a situation is a departure from an ideal scene. A situation is a departure from an ideal scene. So until you define what your ideal scene is, you have no idea whether or not you're in a situation. I was just talking with some of our tax people, and they are stressing out because they want to make sure we're getting all these return done and everything. Well, our ideal scene needs to be redefined. Our ideal scene needs to say that we get 50 returns done every week. As long as we're getting 50 returns done every week, we are not in a situation. The departure from an ideal scene is a situation. And when you depart from the ideal scene, you need to figure out why you have departed from it and change it, and then move towards the ideal scene. Number 8, you can't close a customer until you raise their confidence. You have to raise their confidence in order to close a customer. They have to be confident in that you know what you're talking about, that you are going to deliver for them. I really like that one. Number 9, here's one right now. Study companies, not people. One thing that I refer to my team about all the time is we discuss different companies. We discuss Amazon. What does Amazon do better than anybody else in the world? What they do best is they get information. Immediately when you sign up for Amazon, they get your name, your phone number, your email. Then they start to learn your buying habits. They understand what you buy, what you don't buy, what is attractive to you, what's not. They have information. They understand what and who you are. When you study that company and you understand that information equals revenue, you start to look at business a lot differently. Information equals revenue. I don't care what kind of business you're in, the more information you have about people and connections, the more you are going to make, the more money you're going to earn, the easier it's going to be to get to your vision. Number 10, every major breakthrough comes from when you give up something. What are you going to give up? My daughter. What are you going to give up? Every major breakthrough requires you to give up something. And right now, during this virus, we are going through so many changes, so many things that are requiring us to give up something, give up our office. I'm sitting here working at home today. Challenges us to give up, maybe give up things that were holding us back. This idea that you have to give up something to move forward is so big. And that was a major breakthrough that I had, was what I needed to start to give up. And for me, what it was my pride. I need to give up my pride to have some breakthroughs. And it's happened. That was one of my biggest takeaways, was that I needed to humble myself even more. I didn't have to be the CEO. I don't have to be a certain title. As long as I know what my vision is, I'm writing down my goals, I'm creating my target list every day, I'm going to accomplish what I want to accomplish. And I am not defined by some title. I'm not defined by a company that I have. I'm not defined by those things. And that was a major breakthrough. And I would not have had that breakthrough if I had not gone there and heard that and understood the fact that really my pride was what was holding me back. What is holding you back right now? What is causing you to not have a breakthrough? My partner, Paul Croft, he talks about there is no growth in the comfort zone, and there's no growth in the comfort zone, and there's no comfort in the growth zone. You've got to get uncomfortable. And it's uncomfortable to give up things. We like things that make us feel good. My pride made me feel good. Got to give that up to have a breakthrough. The 11th one, and I know I said it's the top 10, but I'm going to give them all to you because I think they're all great to hear. The way to reduce risk is to increase what you know. If you ever thought about like things that are risky, you reduce risk by increasing what you know. That's gaining knowledge. That's getting information. There is less risk when you have more information. Embrace the negative microburst. They are required to help you learn. This is something that Brandon Dawson talked about in the mastermind. Embrace the negative microburst. They are required to help you learn. And what he was talking about was playing blackjack. If you've ever played blackjack before, it's a very high momentum game. Like if you feel like it's getting hot, you want to keep betting more. You want to gain momentum. But what happens is sometimes you have to figure out when the hand is going to be cold, and you have to lose money, have a negative microburst in order to learn. So that negative thing that you're going through right now, maybe some of that discomfort that you're in that growth zone, that negative thing that you feel like is happening right now is really just a small amount of time that is required for you to accelerate, to learn. So those times, like especially right now, those times that we're going through where we are having a lot of discomfort, these require us to learn. So these negative microbursts, this thing with Corona, I don't think it's going to last a very long time. I think it's going to be another 2 or 3 months, but that's not a very long time in the grand scheme of things. What are you going to learn during this negative microburst? This is another one of my favorites. Scale and scaling starts with you. No matter what business you are in, it starts with you. If you are working on your own and you feel like you don't even know how to scale, you need to look inward. You need to look at yourself. If you haven't gotten yourself right, how in the world are you going to replicate yourself through other people? How are you going to be able to scale your business if you are not right? Scale and scaling starts with you. That was from Brandon Dawson, what he talked about. My lunch. Thank you. Hopefully Louis won't eat it. The 14th one, this is from Brandon Dawson too. Thinker, doer, and doer thinkers. Thinker, doers, and doer thinkers. Now, what the heck does that mean? Big think first. Break it down second, and then make it simple. I was doing this yesterday with a business owner. They were trying to figure out how they can make $250,000 a year. We need to think big. We need to think big first. Once we think big and we come up with this huge idea that we can come up with in order to make $250,000, then we need to break it down second. When we break it down, we discovered that that business owner in the current vehicle he was in, there was no way, it was not physically possible. There was not enough time in the day with the product that he had and the amount that he was charging for it, that he could physically make $250,000 in that vehicle. He had to come up with a second vehicle. So we thought big, then we broke it down second, And then we made it simple. Look, in order for us to get to $250,000, we need to create a product that is $397, and we need to sell this much of it to make up the difference. Make it simple. Business is really simple. You got to start out with a vision. You got to start out with an amount of money that you want to make, because we get into business to make a profit and generate cash. That's why you're in business. You need to think about the amount that you want to make, and then break it down second, and then make it simple. It is very, very simple. Very simple. Not easy though. Everybody overcomplicates it. It's not easy, but it is simple. In scaling, it's going to get worse before it gets better. I can attest to this. When we were growing our company, when I was growing my company over the last couple of years, we were scaling up. We got up to 42 people, and we reached a break point. And Brandon Dawson told me, he was like, you're going to have a break point. There is going to be a point where you cannot go any further the way that you're designed today. So in scaling, it's going to get worse before it gets better, and that happens. So understand, as you're growing your company, it is going to get worse before it gets better. A lot of this stuff we just got to be reminded of. And if it is in that time where it's worse right now, become that thinker, doer, and doer thinker. Think big, break it down second, and then make it simple. When you're in that time where you feel like it's worse, maybe you need to reprogram things. Maybe you need to press the timeout button and think about, what are you doing? Thinker, doer. And then break it down, and then go do it. Go do that action. Here's another one. 6 things in business you need in every communication. In every communication that you have in business, you need to have these 6 things: inspiration, discipline, accountability, alignment, transparency, and results. In every communication, I was talking with one of my team members today. I created inspiration in her. I told her about what the possibilities were. I helped her fulfill one of her goals and put her in a vehicle that she could create the vision that she had for her life. Discipline, I told her about what it was going to take in order to accomplish this. Accountability, I asked her to be sending me an email on a daily basis in order to track her progress. Alignment, where we have goals for this one client that she's going to be helping me with. Transparency, there's going to be open communication about this. And I was telling her about the whole story, how she's going to be able to help impact this client. And then results, we're going to monitor these results. We're going to discuss these results. So every communication in business needs to have those 6 things: inspiration, discipline, accountability, alignment, transparency, and results. Number 17, you have to go through criticism to get to admiration. You have to go through criticism to get admiration. Those people that you admire, they've got critics. It's kind of a fact of life. But hearing that was big for me. Number 18, this is from Grant Cardone. He said, why do we advertise? And I really, really appreciated this. Why do we advertise? First, you advertise for you. For me. I advertise for me. Second, you advertise for your people, for your team. Third, you advertise for your competition so they know that you are out there. And number 4, you advertise for the customer. You know, what's interesting is when I thought about advertising before this, I was always concerned about the customer, and a lot of business owners are. They're thinking about, I need to think about the customer. I've got to advertise. I've got to do what it takes to advertise for them. What you need to do is reverse all of that. Do it for you first. What this will do is it'll increase your confidence in what you're putting out into the public and how you're advertising. You won't think about the fact that you've got to get some type of return on investment for your advertising because you're doing it for you. If you don't want to do the advertising, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your money. Don't waste your resources on it. Do it for you first, for your people second. That develops confidence into your people, for them to see your ads out there, for them to know that you are building up this following. For you to advertise is for your people. Do it for your competition. Remind them that, hey, I'm here. I'm right in front of you. I'm out there. I'm on a billboard. I'm in a magazine. Just remind you I'm still around. And then do it for your customer. If you do it in this order, it will start to allow you to advertise in a more unique way, because you're doing it for you first. It'll make you more unique. It'll become more authentic, a part of you. So do what makes you happy in your advertising. Don't worry about what other people think. This is another good one. Stop managing time and start managing your focus. Lots of people say, I don't have time. I don't have time. I mean, I say this all the time. I don't have time. I need to schedule that. Start managing your focus. What is our focus? Our focus for us right now is preparing tax returns. That's our focus. I don't need to worry about other people's opinions. I need to manage my focus and pay attention to preparing tax returns. For me personally right now, it's SBA loans. That's where my focus is. Number 20, how you end your day is how you start your day. This was a big breakthrough for me. How you end your day is how you start your day. If you end your day late, watching TV and everything, that's how you're going to start. You're going to start tired. How you end your day is how you start your day. This made me think completely differently. I haven't done a very good job applying it, I'll be completely honest with you, but it's something I need to be reminded of. That's why I write these things down. To accomplish anything, you must write down something. The next one is, you need to know more about you. And the way to know more about you is to sit and meditate. Write down your goals. Learn more about you. If you learn more about you, then you can scale and grow your company. The more you know about yourself, the easier it is to grow and scale your company. This is one of my favorite ones I talk to my team about all the time. Making other people's success easy is true leadership. If I make your success easy, that is true leadership. That's from Brandon Dawson in the Mastermind. It is my job to make your success easy. So from that mindset, when I have 30 people, well, now at Croft, we have 70 people. How do I make your success easy? So I'm spending my job is to make your success easy. That's part of being a leader. That is the part of being a leader. So it is a complete mind shift on how I think about leadership in our company. Number 4 is the concept of the power of 3. When you're trying to grow and scale your business, you want to do it in 3s. So you want to have you scaling, and scaling starts with you. Then you want to have 3 people, and you replicate yourself through those 3 people. You replicate yourself through those 3 people. You don't replicate you in each one of those people. You replicate a part of you in each one of those 3, and those 3 are able to accomplish what you accomplish with all 3 of them. And then the power of 3 is those 3 people find 3 people that are able to replace them. And then so on and so forth. The power of 3. By the time you do it, you can end up with a whole lot of people doing a whole lot of things. That's how you scale and grow your company. The power of 3. So think about it this way. If you've got an existing business, or maybe you're just a solopreneur and you want to start scaling, it starts with you. So the more you know yourself, the more you understand who those 3 people are that are going to be required to do what you do. And then they need to find 3 people that do what they do. If you think about it that way, it's not that overwhelming, and you're not hiring like 15 or 16 people at one time. You only need to be hiring 3 at a time. And then the final one, surround yourself with people who are taking massive action. Get around other people that are taking massive action. This is so critically important, to associate yourself with only 3 or 4 people that really are taking massive action. That's who you need to be around. These takeaways had a significant impact on our business and in my life when I walked away from 10X. And I strongly encourage you to go to conferences. One I'm speaking at this year is 8% Nation. I would go look that up, go get a ticket. Hopefully it's still going to happen. These conferences, we have a conference every year called NougatCon. This is where you get around people that are taking massive action. This is where you develop those networks. This is how you start to change yourself, which your business is a direct reflection of who you are. These takeaways, this is how you change yourself. 10X changed me. And when I came back, our income doubled that next month. It doubled by applying these takeaways to our business. I really appreciate you joining this webinar today. Do you have any questions? Does anybody have any questions that is watching? I appreciate you tuning into this. Anybody on Instagram Live have any questions relative to any of the takeaways that I had on here? Any questions, any questions, any questions? All right, well, if you don't have any questions, I really appreciate you tuning into this. This is a webinar series that we're going to be continuing on. We have another webinar that's coming up March 31st. If you are interested in these SBA loans, I'm going to be doing a webinar teaching you how to go through the application process, what is required. We are helping our clients. We're assisting our clients with this, and we're charging a consulting fee for that. But I also wanted to do a free webinar for you to be able to learn how to do this on your own if you wanted to do it on your own. So we're constantly trying to find ways to be able to educate you and help you learn in your business. Another thing that I want to mention to you is JD Frost University. If you go to www.jdfrostuniversity.com, this is your virtual CPA. It contains all kinds of content. There's going to be hundreds and hundreds of videos in here with all kinds of content that you can use for your business in order to help it grow, in order for you to learn more about accounting. And accounting is the language of business. This language is going to be taught in JD Frost University and will help your company grow. So thank you so much for tuning in to this webinar. I hope you were able to write down some of these takeaways as well and start to apply them and remind yourself of these takeaways as you are going through this next period, over this period of time. This is an unprecedented time in our country, and I hope and pray that you are safe at home and that your business will thrive during this time. This is the time to start to adapt and to grow your business, whether you think it is or not. I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching.